In the 2009-2010 school year, the Columbus Academy's Board of Trustees asked the Technology Department for a technology vision for the school. The Technology Department quickly determined a technology vision should not be about technology, but rather how technology can be used to enhance teaching and learning. With that in mind, a committee made up of teachers, librarians, and technology staff looked at the resources and programs at the Columbus Academy. We wanted our vision to take advantage of and enhance what was already in place. CA was focused on major initiatives in ethical literacy, differentiated instruction, and diversity and multiculturalism. We also looked at our existing technology resources, which included computer labs, laptop carts, smartboards in many classrooms, and each teacher having a MacBook. In addition to looking at our own programs, we also went out to see how other K-12 and higher ed schools were using technology to enhance teaching and learning. We looked at schools like The Ohio State University, the Urban School of San Francisco, and other NAIS schools, and Stanford's FG Online. Two things that jumped out at us were students who had 24/7 access to reflectively engaged curriculum took advantage of that access to spend more time engaged with their curriculum, improving their learning. And two, increasing student-to-student communication was just as important as increasing student-to-teacher communication to student learning. After doing our research, the Technology Committee came back with a broad vision that we called Vision 2015. Vision 2015 calls for providing 24/7 access to reflectively engage the curriculum, expanding learning outside the four walls of the classroom, and teaching students to better use the tools they already use today. Once the vision was defined, we used grant money to hire 10 of our teachers per year to investigate what Vision 2015 would look like for their subject areas and grade levels. Of all the things we did to move the school forward, hiring these teachers was the most important. We needed to know what Vision 2015 would look like in first grade, in 7th grade science, and in 10th grade English. After spending much of the year investigating ways to provide 24/7 access to reflectively engage their curriculum, expanding learning outside the four walls of the classroom, and teaching students to better use the tools they already use today, grant recipients were asked to give back by sharing what they had learned with others. They did that during full faculty meetings, professional development sessions, by creating permanent resources, and by being what we call resource agents that other faculty could lean on to move forward. Using input from our faculty, we developed a basic starter tool set. We made our learning management system more social and collaborative. We added social components like online users block, social bar, and featured the user's profile image. We added a space where students could talk about whatever interested them. And we provided single sign-on access to collaborative apps like Google Docs and VoiceThread. We gave teachers tools for creating online content, such as PDFs and videos. This image shows a video captured using ScreenFlow, which records everything that happens on a teacher's computer and smartboard and through the camera and microphone at the same time, and then drops that recorded video into a simple editing tool, allowing what was recorded to be viewed as a single video using picture-in-picture. As we moved forward with Vision 2015, we also paid attention to emerging technologies like the then new iPad. Now let me take a second to talk about our iPad one-to-one rollout. When the iPad came out, we put checkable iPad carts into each of our libraries. At winter break, we pulled the usage of those carts and found the devices were being underutilized. We concluded it was because they were designed to be personal devices and were not easily shared. That prompted us, the technology department, to connect with the 7th grade faculty to talk about trialing a mobile learning program where every student and faculty in the 7th grade would have an iPad. We did very little training ahead of time. We purchased iPads for the faculty so they could play around with them in December and January, and then in February we made iPads available to students for use during the school day. To take the pressure off of teachers who were being asked to introduce these new tools into the classroom, we communicated to families that our first year would be a trial of a pilot program. The first year wasn't even a pilot. As faculty thought about entering into a pilot program the following year, they could play around with apps in their classrooms because their students would already have iPads. Initially, we did not consult many faculty outside the 7th grade about the iPad one-to-one trial. Our position at the time was that we didn't want to have a conversation about iPads before we knew what we were talking about. While we had a lot of experience with laptops and desktops, we didn't even know what the iPad could do. After handing out the iPads, we then watched and learned from our 7th grade faculty and students. We created a discussion forum for students to share about what was going well and what was not going so well with the program. In the first few months, we received over 60 pages of comments, and as a result, we made changes to the program, such as allowing the iPads to go home, opening middle school student email to the internet, purchasing styluses, and setting up Dropbox for business accounts. We also purchased Apple TVs for each classroom so students and faculty could share their work with the click of a button. Within the first couple weeks, we knew we had something worth investigating more when teachers started playing around with new ways of engaging their students, and students started using the iPads to replace paper and pen. Some teachers even began introducing components of a flipped classroom. We had teachers tell us that being part of the iPad program made them remember why they had gone into teaching. Year 2 was supposed to be a pilot of the mobile learning program in 7th grade. Those students and families going to 8th grade and 8th grade faculty told us we could not send the 7th graders to 8th grade without providing them with iPads. This year we have expanded the iPad mobile learning program through the 10th grade. Next year we will expand through 12th. It's worth noting that because the iPad is basically an appliance requiring little troubleshooting, we were able to double the number of devices we support, adding 620 iPads over the past 2 years, without adding any additional staff. Another important component to moving our faculty forward has been providing a comprehensive faculty professional development program designed to keep a conversation going around how technology can be used to enhance teaching and learning. Our technology integrations coordinator, Cindy Ziv, and tech integration folk in lower and middle schools spend their days having conversations with faculty about that, and our one-off technology training events are designed to build upon this concept. We schedule faculty presentations during a series of full faculty meetings that hit upon the same topic from multiple angles. For example, we might have faculty from different grades across divisions talk about what redundant resources look like for them. I'll talk more about redundant resources in a moment. To add to the conversation, we'll sometimes ask students to present. Our faculty have been amazed by the ease with which students use technological tools, saying that we, the faculty, are holdouts and we need to catch up. In January, we have a school-wide mini-tech conference. The majority of presenters are Columbus Academy faculty, including all of those receiving technology grants. In the months following our tech conference, those presenters then become resource agents that other faculty can lean on as they move forward. This picture shows upper school faculty during an optional 2-day PD event that occurred in the summer. To give you an idea about where faculty are with this, of 45 upper school faculty, 43 attended this event. The 2 who did not had previously scheduled vacations but chose to catch up later in the summer. The focus of this training was mobile and online learning. We also bookended the upper school faculty, meaning we talked about the students coming into upper school, and we talked about where upper school students would go next. On day 1, our 7th and 8th grade faculty talked about the middle school students' mobile learning experiences that they would be bringing with them into upper school. And on day 2, we partnered with OSU's Digital First program to talk about what students would encounter upon graduating from Columbus Academy. In addition to sharing our own successes, we also send faculty out to see how other schools are using technology to enhance teaching and learning. Next, I want to show you some of the exciting things we're seeing at Columbus Academy. This first video I'm going to show you shows an excerpt from something we call a redundant resource. In a redundant resource, everything that happens in a classroom is recorded and made available online. This includes handouts, practice exams, and lectures.
Lecture L3, Volumes of Solids of Revolution. If I rotate that about the x-axis, there it goes, right? It makes a disk. So if this width is delta x, and this is a radius, this would be pi r squared dx, right? That would be the volume of that individual disk right there. Let's do this first problem. You've done this before, right? Does this look familiar? You have a piece of tin or paper, you cut squares out of the corners, you fold up the edges, and you have a tray, right? I mean, like a little open box. So we start with something like this. we cut out these corners. Then I have what looks like kind of a plus sign, and I fold those up, and then I'm going to have right? I mean, those all folded up. It's an open little box, right? Like whatever. In this case, there's only 2 graphs on the page, so menu, analyze graph, intersection, boom, boom. There's that intersection point, menu, analyze graph, intersection, boom, boom. There's that point, right? So I've got all 3 points on there.
Redundant resources offer a number of benefits. Students who miss a class can access the material for that day. Students can go back and review material they found to be difficult. They can pause and rewind the lectures. Substitute new teachers can use the resource to stay one day ahead of students, and parents can use the resource as well. With redundant resources becoming more commonplace, we've noticed teachers starting to collaborate with their peers more. In many cases, teachers across sections of the same course share the redundant resources. Teachers have also started to unhook from their class lectures and rethink their class time. In some cases, they've introduced components of the flipped classroom, asking students to watch the recorded instruction at home so they can do their work while at school. Teachers have expanded upon the redundant resources to provide access to things they do not do in the classroom. For example, teachers who had time in class to work through several practice test problems might provide online video instruction of themselves working through all the problems that the students can access from home. This picture shows a 3rd grade handout with a QR code. The teacher handwrote the handout to make it less intimidating, but included a QR code to a video of the lesson that went with this handout. This allowed students to view the instruction again and parents to better partner with the teacher from home. Faculty have started to make their online resources reflective using tools like online forums and Edmodo. In this project, students were asked to design their own experiments demonstrating velocity. They were then asked to upload their work and a picture or video to an online forum, where classmates could then view the experiment and share their own thoughts about the project. We have had teachers extend classroom discussions using collaborative tools like VoiceThread, a tool that allows teachers to upload a video or image and students to leave comments. Doing this, they were able to engage a whole new set of students who did not as readily engage in the synchronous classroom discussion. Here's an example of one.
I mean, if you look over here, right above her head, you got a faded spray paint of the N-word. Why a faded spray paint of the N-word? Why do people hate everybody that much? If you look here, somebody really wanted to hit her head, because that's just right above her head. Why would anybody try? I mean, what's the point? What do they accomplish by that? It doesn't make any sense.
Faculty have also started extending learning outside the four walls of the classroom. This is an example where a 1st grade teacher decided to engage her reluctant readers and writers by tweeting with classes from other countries. Students who had been reluctant to write suddenly wanted to share with others the exciting things happening in their classroom. The classroom Twitter feed also gave this teacher a number of opportunities to talk about good digital citizenship. That's the conversation we want to happen from pre-kindergarten up to 12. The teacher spent a lot of time talking about what is safe to put online and does the class really know with whom they're communicating. In the first year of the project, one of the 1st grade students tweeted, "You're weird," to a buddy who was tweeting at the same time across the room. That tweet, of course, went out to all the class Twitter followers. That tweet provided an opportunity for the teacher to pull the class together and ask them how they thought their followers might have felt when the student tweeted to them that they were all weird. The introduction of the iPad has led to a lot of innovation in regards to teaching and learning. We found that the iPad lends itself to this because of its versatility, its intuitive interface, and because it is tech light, meaning the students and faculty don't have to learn how to use it, they just use it. In the past, if a student wanted to conduct an interview, they would have to check out a flip cam from the library, conduct the interview, import the recorded video into iMovie, export the iMovie to DVD, and then play it on a computer that had been plugged into a projector. With the iPad, they simply record the interview on the iPad and then walk into the classroom, and with a click of a button, the interview can be played on the projector through the classroom Apple TV. While we view the iPad as the enabling device at this time, we have to be flexible enough to consider tech tools in the future that might be even tech lighter. You'll notice in these images the iPad becomes just another tool on the desk. It can be used in a variety of ways for a variety of purposes, and it largely stays out of the way of the other things happening in the classroom. Many times, when students are given a choice as to which tool to use, most will choose to use the iPad. I think you may see one or two students in this picture using paper and pen. Here's a picture of student handwriting on the iPad. I actually prefer my writing on the iPad to paper and pen. Two innovations we saw as a result of the iPad mobile learning program included the introduction of something we call quick checks. Quick checks are where students move at their own pace on projects, but before moving on to the next project, you must get up in front of the class and teach a quick 15-second lesson on what they just learned. The nice thing about this is that students get to hear short lessons about a topic taught in 18 different ways by 18 different teachers. We've also seen innovations using the iPad across grade levels and subject areas. The picture on the right here shows a student applying makeup in a creative expressions class. In the past, he would have used a mirror. By using the iPad's built-in camera, the iPad became his mirror. By using the iPad as their mirrors, students were then able to snap photos with a click of a button. And since they were snapping photos at various points while applying their makeup, students could then create a video flipbook of their makeup being applied and narrate the video explaining the process. As we head into our fourth year of Vision 2015, faculty have reported the following: increased classroom engagement, greater student ownership of learning, confidence from teaching others, learning in a way that matches the individual's learning style and needs, an enormous jump in one-on-one time with students, and a remarkable increase in performance on tests. Thank you very much.